Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Well, that's, I think, Hebrews 11:1 from the Bible, but I think that's a very important, it doesn't matter what your beliefs are, I think there's a lesson in there for all of us who aspire to be network marketing professionals. Welcome to Network Marketing Pro. My name's Randy Gage. I'm sitting in for Eric Worre this week, who's taking a well-deserved vacation. And I want to talk about the subject of faith. Because there are people in our business, and probably many of you watching, who say, well, that's my problem. I really don't have faith. If I had faith, I'd be able to do this, but I don't know where I could find this faith. How do I get this faith? How do I develop it? But I think that's not really true. I believe everybody has faith. The question is, what do you have faith in? Because I would tell you what, the first 5 or 6 years in this business, I had a tremendous amount of faith. I had faith that people were not going to show up for my presentations. I had faith that the people who showed up for my presentations were going to reject me and say no. I had faith that the people who joined the business were going to drop out in the first month or two. And you know what? My faith was rewarded, because that is exactly what happened. Because that was the faith I had. You know, what we think about is what we attract. Thoughts held in mind attract in kind. So we all have faith. The question is, what do we have faith in? So how do we become successful in network marketing? We've got to develop the positive faith. So let's talk about some of the ways that we can do that and create the kind of faith that's going to allow us to manifest the results that we really want to see in our network. I think we could all say, we don't need to worry about faith in network marketing. Network marketing is proven. As my esteemed colleague likes to say every single day, it's a stone cold fact. We have a better way. You know what? That's not in dispute. It's 60-some years now network marketing has been around. 60-some years it's been growing. How many millionaires and multi-millionaires it's created. How many people it's given freedom to. How many people it's given better health and wellness to. How many people it's given better lifestyles to. And again, we get a little jaded of this. You know, we make a lot of money in this business, some of us, in multi-million-dollar incomes. But let's not lose sight of the fact that there's a lot of areas in the world, and network marketing is all over the globe, in many, many countries, even third world countries, where people who make the equivalent of $200 or $300 a month, or 200 or 300 euros a month, this is transforming their lives. We're doing a lot of good. If you're talking about, last estimate I heard last year would have been more than $100 billion sales in network marketing direct selling companies. If you took an average of 40% of the payout, that means $40 billion got paid out to us, the team members in the profession. That's $40 billion that was making car payments, rent and mortgage payments, donations to church, temple, mosque, synagogue, then donations to charity, allowing people to get free, paying bills, improving lifestyle, doing wonderful things. There's no reason for you to question faith in the profession of network marketing. It's proven. I'm betting for pretty much every one of you watching this, your company is proven as well. And there's people in your company who are already successful. They're already making money. They're already driving those free bonus cars. They're already renting those cruises and free trips. They've got the network growing. So your company is proven as well. There's no reason for you not to have faith in your company. So that brings us to one other area that we've got to have faith in, and that is ourselves. And that, of course, is where most people struggle. So how can we develop that positive faith in ourselves? Well, I think it's all about programming. It's about choosing the programming we get in our subconscious mind. Tom Schreider likes to say that your subconscious mind is an idiot. It just does whatever it's told to do. And that's really true. Your subconscious mind, when it's programmed with something, it just does what it's programmed to do. It doesn't rationalize, it doesn't analyze, it doesn't critique, it does whatever it's programmed to do. And if you don't believe me, think about it. I mean, your subconscious mind right now is keeping your heart pumping. It's causing you to breathe. It's all of those trillions and trillions of cells in your body are all going through the process exactly as they're supposed to, even though you're not consciously saying, well, I better remember to breathe this minute, because if I don't breathe, I'm going to run out of oxygen. Just takes care of it. Same thing, you ever get in an argument with your spouse and you leave the house and you're mad and you're going to work and boy, I should have said this and next time I'm going to say that, and all of a sudden you're at work. How did you get there? Because your subconscious mind knows. You go down to this street, you turn left, you go down to the convenience store, you turn right, you get on the expressway, you take that for 2 miles, you always get off at this exit, this is where your parking space is. Your subconscious mind just does that automatically. When we program our subconscious mind, we will get the results we want because it doesn't rationalize, doesn't analyze, it just does what it's supposed to do. So how can we program our subconscious mind? Well, the fact that you're watching Network Marketing Pro every day, that's a positive step. 5 days a week, you got this positive programming, teaching you skills, building belief, building confidence, helping you develop faith. I encourage you to drop by my site. I have one called networkmarketingtimes.com. I've got a blog on there with some of the most amazing people in network marketing are participating and contributing on that every day. I've got an MLM leadership report. You can subscribe to that, and then we send out updates and training tips on that. So I certainly encourage you to do that. Program the positive images. Everybody in this business should have a dream board in their bedroom. This should be just a poster. Get it at the art supply store. Big poster board and fill it with images of things you want to do, have, or become. And just know that put it somewhere where the dream stealers are not going to see it, where they're going to ridicule you or make fun. Somewhere probably in your bedroom, so you're going to see it every morning. You're going to see it every night. And just know, even when you walk by and it's just in your peripheral vision, it's still programming your subconscious mind. And other people don't have to know what they mean. Any image, let's say you're looking for your perfect soulmate, you could do a picture of a couple holding hands. You could do a clip out a couple of wedding rings from a magazine. You could do a silhouette of what your perfect person, anything. As long as it means something to you. And I believe you need to have your dream car, and you need to have your dream home, and you need to have a copy of the bonus check that you want to get, and the things you want to become. Because it isn't just about the attainment of wealth, it's about becoming prosperous in all areas of your life. So I encourage you to have an area for spirituality, have an area for health, all of the things in your life that are important to you, put them on your board and have that there. I'd also suggest you have a map of your organization. The two things I want everybody in my team to have in their bedroom, I want them to have a dream board, and I want them to have a map. They're drawing out their organization. And so they've got their 4 personal people, and this guy's got 2, and this lady's got 1, and then every time they add a team member, they draw another circle and they get it out. And of course, obviously, it'll get to the point that when you really get going, your organization is so big, you can't even draw it out anymore. And then maybe you're just drawing out your director lines, or you're just drawing out your diamonds, or the long, it doesn't matter, but start with when it's just you. Go ahead and put you, and then when you get that first person, put it there, because as you see that grow, that helps you develop the faith. You have to feed your dream on a daily basis. Because understand this, one of 2 things are going to happen. If your fears are greater than your dreams, you will procrastinate and you will do nothing. You will sit home and worry, what if they say no? What if they reject me? What if they drop out? What if this doesn't work? And you will fill your mind with all kind of negative things if you allow your fears to be greater than your dreams. But if you cause your dreams to be greater than your fears, your dreams will pull you into action, and that will keep you going. So you ever hear that? You go to seminars and people say, hey, fake it till you make it. Go out and rent a car and buy clothes you can't afford and wear jewelry and it's really expensive, and you fake it, and then your group is going to see you with all this flashy merchandise and they're going to want to duplicate. Very bad advice. I don't want you to fake it till you make it. I want you to live within your means. I want you to keep your job. I want you to build your network 10 or 15 hours a week, grow your income, and I want you to take the network marketing income and use it to grow your business. So I don't want you to fake it till you make it, but here's what I want you to do. I want you to faith it until you make it. All right, so thanks for being with me all week. Next week, Eric will be back, and thank you and you for being a professional. Welcome to Network Marketing Pro. I'm Randy Gage, sitting in for Eric Worre, who's taking a well-deserved vacation this week. And I want to talk to you about will and the power of will. Here's a question for you. Have you ever sponsored somebody in the business? They know a little bit about the products. They have no idea how the compensation plan works. They would have no idea how to qualify for a bonus car, how to win a free trip. They don't know anything about the infinity bonus or this pool or this leadership anything. Yet they go out and they sponsor 10 people in a week. You ever seen that? How do they do that? They do that, I believe, because will trumps skill. Now don't get me wrong, skills are important, and I really commend you guys who are watching this every day. Eric is teaching you guys some great skills, and skills development is part of that growth process. Developing skills is how we get better at what we do. That's the distinction. When Eric says, my wish for you is that you go pro, you make that commitment and become a professional, that's what professionals do, is they develop those skills. But here's the 4 things I think you need. Number 1 is skills. Number 2 is passion. Number 3 is intensity. And number 4 is urgency. But you know what? Of those 4 things, I think skills may be the least important of the 4. Because if you go out there with passion, intensity, and urgency, people want to be a part of what you're doing. I don't even know where he's going, but I want to go with him. I don't know what she's doing, but I want to do it with her. People like to follow people who are passionate. People like to be part of a tribe, part of a movement, part of something bigger than themselves. And what you see with that new person is they get in the business, and I see this. If I look at my team, I've got a line down in Mexico with thousands and thousands of people that no experience in the business. The top directors in that line were dance instructors. They didn't know how to spell MLM. They got exposed to it. They got excited about it. They got passionate about it. They went out there with intensity. They went out in urgency, and they did great things with it. We saw the same thing in a line in Portugal. I saw the same thing with a line, probably 4 or 5 different lines I have in the United States. People with no experience in the business, but they saw the vision. They got passion. They got, so what do we have passion about? We need to have passion about the products. We need to have passion about the business. Intensity. Why is that important? I think the thing with intensity is you've got to go all in. If you look at the most successful people in the network marketing profession, at some point in their career, just like the poker players you see, they got 4 aces in there and they just say, hey, I'm all in. You get to a point where, because what do people do when they get in the business? They say, well, I'll give it a try. Okay, you convince me. I'm going to try this thing out. Or, I'll try this and see how it does. No, that doesn't happen. That doesn't work. What happens at some point is they say, I'm all in. Okay, I got it. I really got this. I understand. This is not an abstract thing that works for some people. It works for other people. I own this myself. I know this is going to work for me. So here's what I do. I suggest that get down in the comments and grade yourself on these 4 areas. Skills, passion, intensity, and urgency. Score yourself 1 to 10 and see where you're at, and then see where you can grow. Because here's what I would tell you is, what is this business about? It's about invitations and it's about presentations. When you first start out, it's pretty much about invitations, and having a good one. And later, as you develop your skills, you're going to get to the point where you're going to need to make presentations. But as we talked about in yesterday's show, if you're using third-party tools, you really don't need to have presentation skills to begin, but you do need to have invitation skills to begin. And I'll tell you this, the person who goes out and makes the most incorrect invitations, but does it with passion, intensity, and urgency, they're going to out-earn the person who waiting around to learn how to do the perfect invitation. Same thing with presentations. You say, well, I'm not doing presentation, I'm working on my presentation, and I'm months and months and months of practicing their presentation. They say, I did my first presentation last night and it was perfect. Let me tell you what I will tell you. If your first presentation is perfect, you waited way too long to give it. Your first presentation should be horrible. Your second presentation should be a little less than horrible. Your third presentation should be okay. Your next one is moving up to mediocre. That's how we grow. That's how we develop those skills. It's like riding a bike. Nobody gets on a bike and just rides away for 20 miles. We've got to have some training wheels for a while, and then we're even going to fall down now and then. But it's like helicopter parents, right? It doesn't help their kids if they're always hovering around and never let their kids ever fail at anything. We all need to fail at stuff. Understand this. Failure is part of the success process. The opposite of success is not failure. The opposite of success is mediocrity. Failure is part of the success process. Failure is what teaches our lessons. It helps us grow to that. So please, think about that. Get out there and know that when it comes to meeting people, when it comes to doing our business, will trumps skill every day of the week. Join me tomorrow and we're going to talk about the number one thing that holds people back from success.
Jó reggelt mindenkinek, sziasztok! Az én nevem Bodó Barnabás, és mi reggelente így beülünk a webterembe, elindítjuk a napot hírekkel, információkkal, aktualitásokkal, és látom, hogy szép számban összejöttetek megint. Én ilyenkor, amikor rajtam van a sor így szerdánként, mindig van, amikor már este azon gondolkodom, hogy mit mondjak nektek, de amikor csak reggel, mindig az aktuális gondolatomat szeretném átadni, hogy tudjak valamiben segíteni. És hát először most azzal kezdeném, hogy ugye a szeminárium napja, a következő szeminárium napja az április 15. Nem írtam föl, csak fejből akartam mondani. Jó, tehát április 15 ez nem szombati nap lesz, hanem vasárnap, jó? Tehát erre így készüljetek. És igazából most az járt a fejemben, hogy hogyan is nézek én erre a vállalkozásra. És ugye nagyon sokan, amikor bejönnek egy ilyen üzletbe, akkor, ahogy a Randy Gage is mondta, több módon állnak ehhez hozzá, és az egyik legrosszabb, amikor megpróbálom szituációval. Jó, lehet ezt nézni, meg tapasztalni, csak utána, ha valaki meghozta a döntést, akkor én úgy gondolom, hogy abszolút úgy kellene kezelni, mint egy vállalkozást. Tehát gyakorlatilag vállalkozásról beszélünk, és a vállalkozás általában mindig úgy néz ki, mint egy üzleti tevékenység, és ehhez képest kellene valahogy ezt véghez is vinni, és én azt gondolom, hogy mindennek az alapja, ami vállalkozás, az a mérhetőség. Tehát, hogy tud kontrollálni, hogy mit csinálsz, mi jön ki belőle, milyen eredmények vannak, és ezt abszolút szét lehet bontani, hogy miket lehet mérni ebben a vállalkozásban, mert a legtöbbet, amit így látok embereknél, hogy ezzel a résszel nem foglalkozik. Tehát ő vagy azt nézi, hogy hogy mennyi pénzt keresett, nézegeti a webirodáját, vagy tart néhány tájékoztatót, és akkor abból lesz valami, vagy nem lesz valami, és elkezd telni az idő, mennek a hetek, aztán elindulnak a hónapok, és ez csak azt veszi észre, hogy nem igazán jön ebből jövedelem. Tehát nincs az az eredmény, amit ő célként kitűzött. Mit tűzt ki célként? Több pénzt, több szabadidőt, lecserélni az autóját, házát, stb. De ahogy múlik az idő, ez tompul. Tehát ez észrevesz, hogy ez nem jön. És ez annak a hibája, annak a bűne, hogy gyakorlatilag nincsen kontroll afelett, amit csinál. Ennek is lementünk a gyökerére, hogy miért nincs, de ebben most nem akarok belemenni, inkább a mérhetőségről kellene beszélni. Ugye nem véletlenül van az, hogy van egy ilyen technikai sorrend, hogy mit kell csinálni egy ilyen üzletben. Ugye van az a néhány pont, kezdve a céllista, meghívás, és folytathatnám a sort, és gyakorlatilag ezeket egyenként lehetne mérni. Tehát nem véletlenül van az, hogy kitűzünk egy számot, hogy figyelj, ekkora névlistára lenne szükség, ennyivel kezd, ez már a mérhetőségnek egyik alapja. Most megvan, vagy nincs meg az a szám, amit elhatároztál, hogy te leírsz, vagy kérte a szakmai vezetőd, a szponzorod, hogy írj le ennyi nevet, és már itt kezdődik maga a mérhetőség. Aztán utána ott kezdődik, hogy mennyiben, milyen sűrűn, hányszor csinálod ezt a tevékenységet, ami neked bevételt generál. És a fő bevételgeneráló tevékenység ugye az a tájékoztató. És az egész összefügg. Meg tudjuk mérni, hány telefonhívást indítottál. Meg tudjuk abszolút mérni napi szinten, hogy hány telefonhívásból mennyi pozitív, tehát igen találkozód lett, vagy mennyi negatív találkozód lett. Ennek a jelentősége az az, hogy itt tudjuk mérni azt a számokból, a pozitív, illetve a negatív számokból, hogy te jól csinálod a meghívást, vagy nem csinálod jól a meghívást. Akkor megint számok kellnek ahhoz, hogy tudjuk mérni azt, hogy te mit csinálsz a tájékoztatókon. Tehát mindenkinek megvan a saját száma, gyakorlatilag le tudjuk azt mérni 10-ből, 20-ból, 30-ból, 50 tájékoztatóból milyen eredményeid vannak, és ez egy olyan segítség, ez a mérés a szponzorodnak, hogy bele tud nyúlni, meg tudja vizsgálni azt, hogy hol lehet valami hiba, ha nem jönnek az eredmények. Mert ez az egész azért van, hogy te mérítskéld magad, hogy meglegyen az eredmény, amit kitaláltál, hogy hogyan kéne. Mert ha viszonylag az elejére, ugye üzleti vállalkozásról van szó, és szépen elkezdjük az elejétől azt tudatosítani, hogy minden tevékenységet le kell ellenőrizni, le kell mérni, hogy mennyit csinálsz belőle. Az első és a legfontosabb dolog az a mennyiségi kérdés. Ha nincs benne mennyiség, akkor nem lehet számolni sem. Nem lehet kijavítani a tevékenységnek a hibáit, mert 1, 2, 3, 5 tájékoztatóból nem lehet azt lemérni. 1, 2, 5 meghívásból nem nagyon lehet azt lemérni, hogy te általánosan elrontasz valamit, és hogyha elrontasz valamit, akkor gyakorlatilag mi az? Ahhoz kell egy kis mennyiség. És lehet mérni akár a többit is, lehet mérni a hitedet, lehet mérni a hozzáállásodat, tehát minden ilyen dolgot lehet mérni, és én úgy gondolom, hogy ezt nagyon ne halaszd el. És megint ez tőled indul ki, akarod-e? Először is lehet, hogy ezt nem tudtad, nem tudom. Azért beszélünk többen így reggelente, azért beszélünk több témáról, hogyha esetleg pont az a hiányosság, amiről az adott előadó és az adott napon beszél, akkor nagyon, nagyon jó, hogy itt voltál. És ezért is van az, hogy ha megcsinál valaki, egy cég, egy vezető, egy üzleti rendszert, üzleti képzést, hogy ott gyakorlatilag nagyon sokszor elhangoznak ugyanazok a dolgok. Ez abszolút nem véletlenül van, mert az egyik ilyen tréningen, vagy beszélgetésen, vagy reggeli tájékoztatón fönn, vagy a másikon nem. Persze itt látom a neveket jobb oldalon, itt nagyon sok olyan ember van, aki rendszeresen itt van, hogy gyakorlatilag már nagyon sok mindent tudtok, szinte szerintem nincs is olyan témakör már, amiben nem vagytok jártasak, vagy egyáltalán nem hallottatok erről, és itt megint azt kell mérni, hogy részt veszek-e minden, igen, jó, rendben van, de valami eredmény mégis hiányzik. Tehát el kell kezdeni mérni az összes többit, hogy mi az, amiből nem csinálok eleget, vagy mi az, amit nem csinálok jól, és akkor, akkor megtalálod azt a pontot, amivel eredményesebb tudsz lenni. Jó, ne felejtsd el, hogy ez egy üzleti vállalkozás, és egy üzleti vállalkozásnak profitot kell termelni, ez teljesen egyértelmű, jó? Tehát nem csinálhatod azt, hogy heteken, hónapokon keresztül nincs megfelelő bevételed, jó? Tehát valamit kell ezzel kezdeni, ki kell javítani a hibákat, és figyelj, ha úgy van, a hibajavítás is egyszerű egyébként, mert abban a pillanatban, hogy a mostani mennyiséget megduplázod, meg háromszorozod, esetleg meg ötszörözöd, abban a pillanatban a hibák maguktól javulnak. Tehát egyszerűen elkezdenek kijönni belőle a jó eredmények, és egyszerűen elkezd jönni a profit, jön a bevétel. Jó? Tehát ezt is most ellenőrizd le, meghívásból mennyit csináltál, tájékoztatóban mennyit csináltál, után követed az illetőt, lezárod ezeket a tárgyalásokat, és a mennyiségeket nézd meg, mérd meg, és hozz egy döntést. Ha nem vagy elégedett azzal a mennyiséggel, amit látsz, akkor hozz egy döntést, és duplázd, háromszorozd, ötszörözd. Te döntöd el, hogy ezt hogy csinálod, mennyit csinálsz, és utána ellenőrizd, megint kezd el mérni, hogy ezt tényleg megcsinálom-e, tényleg rajta vagyok-e, és innentől fogva lehet pénzt keresni. Tehát innentől fogva ez egy üzleti vállalkozás, a kompenzációs terv kifizeti, amit termeltél, innentől fogva tudsz egy jó tervet készíteni magadnak. Csak mérj és ellenőrizz. Jó? Köszönöm szépen ma reggel a figyelmeteket, sikeres szép napot mindenkinek, találkozunk 15-én. Sziasztok!
Strength and honor.